That was just a count timer to another 2-minute countdown timer. Alright, well then. I have a bit more time, it seems. Alright, here we go. Here's the VC team. Here's the French team right here. Oh, no, here we go. We are starting. All right, on the VC, the defenders are marching their way, charging as quickly as they can towards the defensive fortifications. A large portion of the team going towards Alpha, only a few heading up the center or towards Bravo. We should see the first few American forces coming down this middle road here any moment, and there they are. There is one. It appears to be a single rifleman. Scottcat Manifesto, as we already have contact over on the left flank. Uranium getting a kill on Gotta Be Gaming, as it seems they're cutting off this left-hand flanking attempt by the American team. This is a classic strategy for the Americans to try and get around the American right flank to get into Alpha from the side. A large amount of American forces here charging over as a flamethrower getting a large burst of flame out at the enemy. Ooh, getting gibbed into nothing. Gotta Be Gaming taking a few VC with him before he's turned into Red Jam, as there's a large amount of smoke here covering the American advance. X-Strawberry bringing up the rear as he moves along with New Type to the rear of the Alpha objective. And we see back here that a large amount of VC are again moving up to try and prevent their entry. Trotsky taking out at least one of the American attackers, with Steel from TnT being right behind him, gunning down the majority of the Americans assaulting into the position, and it seems the Americans have been repulsed on this left flank. Over at Bravo, the Americans are having a bit better luck, as they seem to be using smoke there as well to push across the street. We have Airborne and El Tuck pushing forward into these little side shops and houses as a VC player is running back into the rear line. Sawyer coming forward with grenades along with Airborne running back. Might be a bad nade in there. Nope, it is not a bad nade. Sawyer pushing forward, point man class there, getting gunned down by a VC player. Looks like that might have been, I can't tell because they have delayed kill feed, so I cannot say. Romahan is going to push up here. He's an American radio man, getting in the back lines, trying to find another VC to take out, going up to the second floor of this little shack here, looking for any Overwatch position. No, he does not find any, but he gets an Overwatch position of his own. Let's see if he kills anyone down on the ground floor below, as we have more VC pushing out here. Gook Spy, actually. Oh, behind a VC right here. Oh, that's an American. No, excuse me. That's an American who stole an RPK. Never mind then. The Americans have taken the left side of Bravo pretty handily, and it seems they've captured Bravo as well, so Bravo is firmly in American hands. It's now just Alpha that's actually going to be a threatening position for the Americans as they continue to try and stream across. Once again, trying to push out over on their right side, it seems, although the VC are ready for them. We have a number of American forward scouts, Daesh, Bromley, and a bunch of other guys over here watching for the defending VC. We'll have to see if they can actually survive. Bromley pushing out here, getting a good shot right into his chest. Flick Z launching a few attacks of his own back towards the defenders, but he gets mowed down as well. The French have this left-hand flank locked down completely. Goff and Chesindio definitely getting a number of Overwatch positions on this little alley here, as we see a number of Americans pushing in the center now. Another flamethrower coming through. Gotta Be Gaming again, roasting the upper floor windows of that objective. Uncontested at the moment, pushing into the center of the bottom floor of Alpha. Now going to the back to try and watch for any reinforcing members. Going to be pushing up to the second floors here in the back stairwell. Oh, but it gets taken down almost instantly by, presumably, let's see where he was. I don't know where that VC was, actually. Well, someone either way. I believe it was YoGT TnT there, gunned him down, preventing any of his comrades in the upper floors from getting roasted and turned into Vietnamese barbecue. As more Americans try and push out here over on their left flank, still getting gunned down and cut out from advancing. Tombot getting a kill of his own there with, I believe that was a MAT 49. Yes, it was indeed. Let's go to the right center flank and see what's going on there, as we have some Americans now looking over towards their right flank, trying to spot some of those defenders and take them out. So far, a little unsuccessfully. Not that many Americans in the area in general, and ooh, look at that! We have Uranium, TnT, getting a good kill, but getting gunned down himself as more reinforcing Americans stream through from those street shops into the main thoroughfare. Next to that, knocked out troop transport. And they're now trying to again cross into the main road there, but getting cut down again and again as more VC are putting themselves into the building for defense. A large amount of smoke covering the Americans as they push forward. A sizable number of them going in here. Solar, ooh! and a big explosion, presumably from an RPG, takes out the remaining attackers at the front of the Alpha objective. But the Alpha objective is still being contested. We have Americans getting inside the building. More and more French are returning to the actual structure itself, trying to defend, and another RPG blast taking out more American attackers as a number of Bloodbath members are launching a fusillade of fire into that front of the building to try and keep the heads down on any VC that might be in the area. Smoke is absolutely choking the front rooms as artillery seems to be dropping on top of the Alpha objective, but it might not be enough as there are enough Americans to actually start taking the objective itself. As you can see here on the bottom floor, there's a ton of American soldiers, GIs, occupying this front floor, and they are still capturing it. X-Strawberry, Skakat Manifesto, and Biff Butkus giving a definitively determined defense against the French forces. As more and more VC try and stream inside, we have... oh, it's an American, actually. Oh, look at that. The second floor still are in control of VC as Goff and Silver are holding the stairwell, but the ground floor is firmly in the hands of the Americans. Bromley and Airborne pushing to the second floor. Bromley getting in the face of Goff, gunning him down. Goff unluckily throwing a grenade at the wrong time, and it looks like the Americans now have control of the second floor as Zehenem is moving to the third and final tier of the building, the roof, not spotting anyone up there, and it seems the Americans have captured the Alpha objective. Now moving on to Charlie, as smoke is now filling the back alleyways of the Alpha objective as they are clearing out the remaining VC that are in the defending area. We have 1 or 2 Americans on overwatch positions targeting the VC that are running across the river right now, as fire is already being sent out towards the Charlie objective. We have the few remaining VC that survived scurrying back into the Charlie defenses itself, getting set up here. We have an RPG gunner that is Maximum from TnT, watching for any GIs that might be trying to cross the river, and trying to cross they are. Oh, a shot going out, but narrowly missing a GI, but he gets gunned down anyways by fire from another VC guerrilla. As we have Trotsky here from TnT watching the left flank, another popular flank, as Napalm comes in. Ooh, that's gonna hurt, roasting a number of different VC forces and getting a team kill itself, but that is going to be very effective, painting the entire upper right side of the Charlie defenses and preventing any VC for at least a few seconds from maneuvering through there. And we can see here at least one of the American forces, Daesh, pushing forward, as we have even more coming up, throwing smoke, trying desperately to get into position. That water making things very difficult to actually maneuver and get anywhere speedily. They have to rely on cover, supporting fire, and smoke to get anywhere. This is going to be a bad time for Sloyer. Actually survives, does not get taken down by that VC, but gets eventually taken down. Gets a throw-off, though, with whatever grenade he was carrying, as we have some fire from Stupake here supporting his advancing troops, trying to keep the VC pinned over on the right side of the objective. Shifting over to the left side now, we have, it seems, another firefight going on over here. Seems to have died down, though. There is Psionics moving forward, gunning down the defending VC. He's unopposed right now, no other French in the area, shooting a dead body. A little trigger-happy right there, but justifiably so. There's a tunnel back there, actually. That's what he's waiting for. He's waiting to see if he can get any kills off that tunnel, but there's a VC coming forward. Will he see him? No, he will not immediately. And Natopia then guns down Psionics, who was going to destroy that tunnel. Bad timing, Psionics. Bad timing indeed. But now we have High Slayer coming up here as we see a punchy stake that tricked up another American. He gets gunned down, though, as well. Back to the center now. We see that on the center bridge, there's a lot more Americans getting forward than you'd expect. It seems that is their main point of entry. Heroic Servant, Skakat Manifesto, Brownlee, Gotta Be Gaming now moving forward. Gotta Be Gaming using that flamethrower liberally to paint the entry tunnel just completely red with fire, and the Americans seem to have secured the inner sanctum of the actual temple bridge itself, and are now pushing forward towards the flanks. X-Strawberry and New Type, oh, a grenade going off there, throwing that American into the sandbags, with Big Buttkiss taking his place. Going to the Librarian, putting some fire down, or trying to. The Americans have captured Charlie and are now moving on to Delta and Echo. Biggie, thank you for the sub. Appreciate the patronage, brother, as always. Good to have you. As we see here, the Americans are pushing into Delta and Echo objective now. Over at Delta, the VC are getting gunned down already out on the streets. They are not being able to get into position very successfully at the moment anyways. Those walls over at Charlie, which were formerly their ally, are now being used by their enemy and as their enemy, as they are no longer able to provide good overwatch on the initial entry point. Echo objective over here is being armed and defended by some more Vietnamese forces, as we have Americans now pushing up over on their left flank. Some of them already in the road, the VC actually in the road, gunning down some of the attacking Americans. The Americans are pushing up on the left. Lots of smoke going out now as we see a number of other forces with E-Took and Airborne pushing forward. The defending forces, such as Guff from TnT yet again, and now here's Steel, going and trying to engage the enemy as best they can. A large number of Americans over on their left flank and the VC right flank. Lots of smoke going out here, obviously trying to get as much smoke coverage as they can. We have one guy getting gunned down. He tries to hop over a fence. Let's see if there are any tunnels over here on the right side for the VC. It's usually a good spot to place them. I don't see any from a cursory glance, but the Americans are pushing through here, and the VC are aware of that. They have a number of guys here, such as MFZ Manu gets gunned down, and Lion from MFZ. We have an American soldier over here. We have Psionics with that M60, the pig, blasting away at the French players, trying to keep them suppressed and keep their heads down so any more Americans coming from behind can actually get into the objective zone. And we have artillery coming down now. That is VC artillery, I believe, coming down in front of the Delta objective to try and block off any American forces pushing into that zone. We have more VC forces coming up here. We have Golf gunning down, possibly. Oh no, missing! Oh no, Golf! Oh no, almost taking out the American flamethrower, but instead getting a barbecued face in return. Oh, that was painful. Daesh now pushing forward, taking place of Guff inside of the Delta objective, or Echo objective, excuse me, as Echo itself is being contested. Natopia now hiding in the grass, waiting for any GIs who don't notice him to come by. But it seems that more and more are streaming in as the front of the Echo objective is now lost. Over at Delta now, we can see that it is also in fairly dire straits, or was a moment ago at least. The upper floors of Delta seem to be completely devoid of VC, as the side flanks do seem to have some VC players. It seems the majority of the American team is focusing on Echo right now. So as we swing back over there, we see it's getting close to being capped again, as we now have Airborne here on the steps in front of the back building for Echo. And there, Echo, or Eco as the VC commander so eloquently put it, has been taken down. The VC have lost Echo objective, and now, if they can take it back, they could stall this attack from the American forces, but it would require a fairly significant push, which they might not be able to afford, and could instead use to defend Delta. Yep, ZNM is currently watching down the side alleyway as Nepotia and Vadaz push forward to try and oust these attackers from their position. Vadaz running forward with his SVD, trying to spot any Americans, spotting at least one or two, launching an attack, but realizing he's short on ammo. And Delta now is being attacked as we possibly hear Vadaz being executed. And it seems that, yes, Pyromaniac G and the other American players are already into the second floor. Steel getting taken down by a grenade from his own team. Trotsky accidentally TKing his own boys. Oh, but there we go. More grenades and explosives taking out everyone involved as more VC charge into Delta trying to take out the American attackers. Let's look at the inside of the building. We have a flamethrower out on the outside of Delta. That's going to be difficult to deal with as more and more VC and Americans stream in. Close quarter confused fighting in the loo and everywhere else inside the building to try and maintain hold of this objective. Paradise with his trench gun watching the stairway, almost taking down Meffer, but no, missing his shots. And instead the American TL takes him out and moves in to take hold of the upper floors of the building. Delta is once again being contested as more and more VC streaming from the bottom floors to try and get a hold of the building. We have another American coming up here, Yep Zanem, again trying to take out any of VC forces. A lot of VC rushing in. Uranium. Who's that? Golf again pushing into the base floor is Hapless now, and a number of other Americans are running in the exact same doors. These big building objectives are always crazy like this. Lots of very, very close grazes, interactions, and confusing double takes as you might pass by a friendly one turn and then an opponent the next. And in close quarters rocket launcher there kills himself and his friend, possibly. Gibby now coming up and taking the stairway for the Americans, as Delta is no longer being contested, but it is still being heavily fought over, as we have an American now on the second floor, VC coming up with a flamethrower roasting in on the objective zone itself. High Sawyer sending some shots inside. Delta now being taken again. Flame and smoke and bullets and screams everywhere as Yoji T fires some of his AK-47 at the attacking Americans. Delta is once again being contested, but so is Echo actually being taken back by the VC. If they can take Echo back before the Americans capture Delta, this could be a key stalling point for the for the French team, for them to be able to come back in this round. As you see more and more French players running up here. Paradise and a few other soldiers, Captain Alex and Asgardi pushing forward along that side road as their RPG man covers them. The Americans seemingly switching off from Delta, or at least no longer taking Delta again, possibly pushing over towards Echo as bodies and rebels strew the surrounding area outside of the actual objective zone itself. Echo no longer being captured by the VC. It seems the Americans were indeed swapping over to try and prevent them from taking that objective zone, as we see Trotsky and one other VC player, Chartreux, pushing in and taking over the zone, or attempting to. Skakat Manifesto hiding here inside the bushes with Romahan. Skakat Manifesto being a squad leader, I believe. Jaguar popping up as well there. As we have now AC-130 fire coming in, or AC-47, excuse me, I'm thinking COD 4. As Drinky and another player, again Chartreux, coming in and laying down an attack on the American forces. Echo is still lightly contested, not a lot of heavy action going on here, but it is keeping the Americans full force off of Delta, and Echo is now being contested again, but back here at Delta, it seems that the VC commander, Captain Sausage, is now at a radio, I believe that's a radio, trying to get some support in for the VC, or give them an edge against the Americans. High Slayer coming in here. Coming in and watching those windows, trying to throw a grenade in to see if he can get anyone that's inside that room. No kills as there is no one there, but more and more Americans are pushing up towards Delta. Echo itself is still being heavily contested. It seems that there's a lot more VC here than we first thought. We have Lion from MFZ, as well as Hecate, Corporal Hecate from MFZ, up on the roof of the back Echo objective. We have VC artillery coming in front of Delta, landing a little bit towards the Echo side of things as well due to its wide spread. And it seems we might actually have the Americans lose Echo if they're not too careful here. They could easily lose control of that objective, as we see more and more Americans charge in here along the main street and front entrance to defend the Echo objective. And the VC, the French, have done it! They have taken back the Echo objective and secured that point once more for their side. This could cost the American players some hefty time and tickets, as we see another American soldier there get gunned down next to Jaguar, and he himself gets gunned down by, I believe, Drinky from TnT. As more Americans continue to try and push into the objective zone, but the VC have actually pushed up back to the front zone, or the front building of Echo itself, ousting the Americans seems fully and reasserting dominance over the objective. As very few Americans actually are alive at the front of the objective zone. We have Daesh and one other at least. But going back over to Delta here, it seems that there might be some action going on there as well, or at least nearby. You have a flamethrower going out here over on the left-hand road. Might have gotten gunned down already, but he did get at least one kill. As we have we have American napalm going in at Echo. That might be a very big pain for the VC. Yeah, it looks like it got a lot of them. Many of the Echo defenders are annihilated from that napalm strike, as many Americans are now rushing in to try and take hold of that lost territory. A big wave of forces spawning in. It seems that Echo is now their focus, and they are pushing in with as much might as they can muster. Americans are going to have a very healthy ticket lead right now, almost a 70 ticket lead. The French get a good number of kills to deaths here in the next few seconds. Oh, wait, Uranium, Yabzanem! Oh, how's this going to go? Oh, Uranium misses Yabzanem, but another VC rushes out to try and take him down. Critical, possibly guns him down. Not sure if he did. I don't think he did, no. That is unfortunate. Yes, the ticket deficit for the VC is pretty sizable. They have a 60-ticket deficit to the American faction. That is not going to be easy to come back from, if they even can. It's going to be pretty dang hard for them to muster the energy and ability. But they have shown that they can take back objectives, and they have stalled the American team here so far, so they could easily turn this on its head and instead take this round from the Americans after taking away their momentum. As we see Biff Butkus here firing over at Delta with his machine gun, but a flamethrower here, roasting the upper levels of the Delta objective. Gotta be Gaming, sending as much firepower as he can up into that level, killing Guff from TnT, and a number of other people, including Corporal Kelly.
Report in.
Back at Echo, it seems it is still being heavily contested, with a number of VC in the middle and forward grounds, but the Americans are still streaming in, trying to get as many kills as they can. Uranium pushing forward, gunning down Etuk as he moves in. Romahan gets him taken care of, though. He is not going to be going on a rampage any further at this time. And it seems that the American team is a little unfocused. We haven't seen many concerted efforts from them. Echo is now being attacked, though. They have a number of boys inside the objective zone itself, enough that they can actually take it comfortably. Over on the right flank of Echo, Skakat Manifesto and a number of other American forces, are laying down some fire on reinforcing elements from the Vietnamese team. As we have a number of Vietnamese defenders inside here. Marshmallow and Chartreux again inside the rear Echo building, trying to watch for any Americans. There's an American up top. Yep, Zenahem. Oh my, Chartreux getting gunned down. Will Marshmallow notice? He throwing a grenade up there. Might not have gotten into the upper area. Might have been going over the wall. Oh, this is going to be good. Let's see if they get anyone. Marshmallow again, not noticing Yep Zenahem. Just one layer of height separating the two of them. We have here critical 40. Up on the roof of the Echo building in the rear. Delta now being taken. We'll have to see how that pans out later on if we can. Delta is now being heavily contested by the Americans and VC. Lots of smoke going in and out of that objective itself as the Americans are pushing hard for this large objective once again. VC now hemorrhaging tickets 38 to 117, 37 to 116. They very likely cannot win this with the manpower they have left, and it will come down to a to a matter of just mopping up the remaining VC players. We have now an artillery strike coming in, presumably from the American team, because it is towards the rear of Delta. The objective zones have been taken at Delta, and Echo is now being contested. It seems the VC have fallen back, or decided to fall back to Foxtrot to try and defend that last point with what little ticket power they have left. They're not going to waste any manpower splitting their forces between 2 points and trying to run across an open road. They're instead going to try and let the fortress style of this temple complex serve as an equalizer between their lack of reinforcements and the enemy's saturation of said reinforcements. And Echo is now being finalized as a cap point, it seems. We don't have any VC over here, or what do remain have been mopped up now. And yes, Echo has been taken, and Foxtrot is the last objective to be taken. As we now have a barrage strike from the VC team coming in the middle of Delta and Echo, trying to cut off as many American attackers as they can. The American forces seem to be focusing on the left-hand side of the Foxtrot objective from their perspective, their left flank, right VC flank, and they're currently up against the wall here, trying to get as many grenades over that first wall as they can to root out any defenders that might be hiding in the immediate area. Pyromaniac G and Daesh watching for any defending French forces that could be inside the compound itself. Going into the actual temple grounds, I do not see any French players immediately. They seem to all be inside these little side buildings, watching for whatever Americans try and maneuver into these courtyard areas. We have Vadas right here with his RPG, getting 2 kills on Gotta Be Gaming and Foot Z, and a number of people watching the side flanks here. Actually, a number spread out here on the far rear, watching for any flanking American forces. Only 15 tickets left on the French team right now, but 85 remaining on the Americans, so they are giving about as good as they're receiving, but that might not be enough, and it certainly won't be enough if they plan on just equalizing casualties at the moment. They're going to have to pull out something serious here if they want to win. It was a good idea to retreat, but it might not be enough. As we see here, the Americans are still pushing heavily over on the VC right flank, and in the center, rushing in, we got Gotta Be Gaming right here with this flamethrower, again, pushing into this smoke-choked central complex, going to the left instead, almost getting taken down by a VC player as he goes into the middle building here, in the Foxtrot objective. I can't go in there. My camera is too fat. I apologize. Coming around here to the side. Instead, we have more flames going off here as 7 tickets remain, and the central complex is being captured by the Americans. They have pushed up to the middle building here. The VC are trying to defend as best they can, but it might not be enough, as we have Hapless inside with Pyromaniac G, both, one of which is an M16. Pyromaniac gets cut down, though, by a VC player, as Conan the Librarian and Hapless try and push into the middle building again, and the VC are officially fresh out of tickets. They're going to have to try and push as hard as they can if they want to take this objective back, but it seems that it might be too little too late for them to manage as Napalm slams into the central complex of the temple here, roasting many of what few VC forces remained. Those canisters bringing death, destruction, and hellfire wherever they come down. And it seems that this is going to go ahead and be the end of this round, as the French forces are thoroughly depleted and the Americans are steadily capturing the Foxtrot objective, with only a few minor skirmishes out on the flanks to be the final reminder of what staunch resistance the French and Vietnamese forces put up during this round. And the flamethrowers coming in to annihilate the remainder of the French players in the rear of the objective, but any second now, we should get the indicator that the mission is, or the round is going to be over. American players are down to 49 tickets, actually. It's pretty impressive for the French to have bled them that much with as little tickets as they have. Remember, they started out with only about 33 to 115, and there it is. First round ended. VC losing to the Americans. Bloodbath winning over TnT. Now going to the second round. We'll see if there is going to be a repeat of this event or if things will change. And there you go, there is the score screen for the match. Squad Delta on the Vietnamese getting the most points and having the most kills as well. Number of pretty good plays there from both sides. The most points by far on the overall game was by Uranium from TnT. Wait, no, excuse me, hang on. Oh, the team sides have swapped, actually. The Americans are on the Vietnamese, and the French are now on the Americans. Oh, that's going to be a bit confusing, isn't it? But I'll refer to these guys by their actual team names now so as to prevent further confusion. What games will this be? There is going to be one more match after, or one more game after this game. We're in the second round now. When that game happens, they're going to be swapping to the American servers. Oh, dang, yep, Xanem already getting a number of kills. Excuse me, I'm getting distracted here. They're going to be swapping to the American servers and playing on, yes, Long Tan, as Antlered pointed out. But we already see here the VC providing a staunch defense against the USMC. Got to be gaming there, lying prone with his RPD, watching that road as the TnT forces are running out on the side flanks, popping smoke, trying to move forward as fast as they can, getting gunned down though. Steal from TnT and Win Rico now on the flanks here, pinned down as Piper with his marksman rifle tries to look out and see if he can spot anyone crawling out next to the body of his dead comrade. Nothing to be seen so far, as Daesh gets a pop-off headshot on someone now, as we see a number of the VC forces moving up here. We have Hapless pushing forward and trying to gun down any more Americans in the area. Pyromaniac G looking for any Marines that might want to get their bodies sprayed with bullets. And we seem to have a number of USMC forces here. Trotsky getting gunned down. They're going to try out the same strategy that Bloodbath did, pushing out on their right flank, a number of them actually, as we have a large force of USMC forces now pushing over on the right flank. A lot getting gunned down, though, from the VC, and we have a fair number of them getting through, though. See if they survive. It seems that not many of them did. We have barely anyone left over on this side after that initial assault. We have a lot of smoke here still, though. A lot of French players still spawning in. Colonel Kelly, Critical 40, and it seems Take N21 going forward here through this side shop. pushing into the back room, somewhere to the second floor. A large force now moving en masse as we continue to move, as they continue to advance towards the Alpha objective. Flanking shots coming in from the VC in the river, though, watching them, not wanting to get in the actual area immediately next to the back region, but they are still getting effective fire as Daesh gets a heart shot and critical 40 in the kill feed there. Warrior 84 just around the corner from Daesh. A lot of these boys in very close proximity. Warrior gets him, though, with his shotgun. Very nicely done, but he gets gunned down himself by another VC who pops up from out of nowhere as more and more USMC forces from the French team continue to pour into the base level of the Alpha objective, and it is now being lost from the VC hands as we speak. We have some VC artillery, though, dropping on top of Alpha. We'll have to see if that can cause any real damage here, as we see a number of the French players still getting into the bottom of Alpha, but it might cut off the reinforcements enough that the VC could come and reassert control over the objective. And we see a number of VC players seemingly attempting to do just that as they push forward into the grounds behind the actual area. Group Spy there moving forward with No Man God into the rear zone behind the objective. Their own artillery following dangerously close to the actual attacking area right now. Asgard from TnT and Warrior 84 now moving forward, almost getting shot there pretty heavily by the VC forces nearby. Asgard and Warrior continuing to get some shots off down there in that smoky, choked off alleyway. Alpha seems to have been stopped being captured for the moment. No contesting being done there. The majority of the American units of the USMC have been wiped out. Now just one or two of them are left inside the actual building itself. The French players seem to be having some trouble actually reinforcing along this back pathway, as a number of Bloodbath players are sitting back a ways behind the actual objective itself, trying to get some little sneaky snipe shots on the reinforcing USMC forces as they move in. Alpha is being captured again, but not without a price, as Gotta Be Gaming is pushing in here with Texas Red. A lot of forces coming in here to contest this bottom floor now. They don't want to lose that again. Texas are moving forward, getting almost taken out by Maximum, but getting blown up instead. Trotsky pushing forward, gunning down whoever's attacking him. Warrior 84 moving behind Trotsky as Trotsky lays down a large amount of fire from his M60 in the bottom floor of the objective. Going to the second floor now, there seems to be one or two VC still inside. Conan the Librarian moving around to try and see if he can stop any American forces from getting inside and taking out the Vietnamese from the upper flank. We have here, oh, he's getting a lot of kills here. Gunned down two attacking Americans. There's two USMC forces left. Trotsky trying to lay fire into the base, or from below on those stairs. Not doing as much as you would hope, because Conan has already left, going to the roof now, engaging the Americans or the USMC that seem to have gotten themselves located up there. But the USMC, the French, have captured Alpha, and they are now charging out to go to Bravo.
Report in.
VC recon is up, but Uranium TnT gets gunned down. That recon might not help them as much as they might hope. We'll have to see. It seems the VC have control over the right flank still very comfortably. The Americans are going to have to, or the USMC, the American forces, have to try and push either directly from Alpha or try and root out the VC that are defending from the right side of Bravo. And it seems they plan on attacking from the Alpha direction, since that's where all their smoke is, clogging up the sight lines of anyone over on that side of the objective. Has Gotta Be Gaming pushes forward here to try and scout out for any attacking Americans, some of which are actually stacked up right here in front of the former Alpha objective. Critical 40 and Belly moving now across the front line of this little street here. Critical moving to where Gotta Be just was a moment ago, getting some fire down, taking out at least one of the opposing VC forces. Spawning at Hecate. Critical is apparently a squad leader for the French forces. Hecate moving in here, trying to clear out this building with his grease gun. Not seeing anyone so far, but keeping a wary eye on that cross-street area where all the VC seem to be spawning in. A lot of fire coming in from other areas in the map, and that's a flamethrower from Manu on a balcony, roasting the upper levels of Bravo, trying to take out any VC that might be trying to use these upper floors and these destroyed balconies as cover against the fire coming from the French players. We have, that is Dryacarius coming in now, getting gunned down, it seems, by a large amount of fire from Gotta Be Gaming, I presume, as Litke now moves forward, trying to prevent any French players from getting into the area. Airborne moving up to reinforce Bravo objective as Flick Z is as well. Seems the USMC have pushed up to the left flank, or their left flank, the VC right flank on Bravo, and are now trying to move through smoke heavy cover to get another angle of attack on the Bravo objective. The American team is now officially behind on tickets, 435 to 431, and it might widen here as time goes on. It is certainly taking them a while to take these first 2 points. We'll have to see how this goes. As we have an AC-47 strafing run coming down here, blasting away at the VC attackers. But anti-air has now been activated, and the AC-47 is going down as the USMC continues to push into Bravo. Now on the base floor, taking it out, a number of the French players, Goff, Chassenthio, Drinky, and Audil, no, who is that? Abdel, excuse me, are pushing into the ground floor. The upper levels of the objective seem to have been getting cleared out of VC. Not that many remaining. It seems that everyone has died on at least one floor or another as time has gone on. And it seems that this might be the end of VC control in the Bravo Hotel area. Look out here, and we see a number of players, ex-Strawberry as well, pushing forward. But no, that is going to be the end of it for the VC. Bravo has been captured. Looks like Strawberry and Romahan are going to go down to these tunnels below the building, or below the streets, to try and sneak into Charlie. They're going to be followed by Steel, though. Let's see how they handle that. Oh, Skakam and Defessors are behind Steel. Oh, no, Steel! Oh, that was unfortunate. A large amount of VC here watching and waiting for any USMC to come down into these tunnels and try and flank around. They are not going to let that happen. Texas Red being a bit trigger happy, as is appropriate for his name, almost gunning down his squad leader as he comes around to try and place some defensive booby traps in the area. As you see here, the VC are continuing to retreat up towards the objective zone, gunning down, attacking Americans. Interesting tactic here. They've actually held off on falling back immediately so that they can come back around and take out any attacking Americans that might have their backs to them after the initial retreat and advance from both sides. We have some pink smoke coming out there. Someone has marked the bridge for artillery target. And we have Asgard here coming forward to try and get on the bridge area itself. The flanks of the objective at Charlie are both secure at the moment. We have some VC artillery coming down over on their left flank, American right flank of Charlie, as the USMC forces over on the right flank are getting pummeled now by both intense firefight and artillery barrage. So it might be a bit impossible for them to get across there at the moment. But over on the middle, it seems to be going a bit better as you have a number of USMC forces pushing forward, even though they are getting hit by fire from the left flank over at those defensive positions. Paradise and Corporal Kelly pushing forward with some grenades and attacks being sent out by some VC, but ooh, that might have been a twofer from Paradise there. Good kill, but it seems a grenade might have gone off and killed him before he could have successfully pushed in and assaulted, as we have a number of VC now pushing in from the flanks to the center. Presumably the chain of command in Bloodbath has alerted the other players in that team that the French players have successfully penetrated, for a moment at least, that initial front entry point. As we have another American or USMC soldier there getting gunned down, some more out here trying to provide some cover fire, and a good covered spawn here out by this little fishing boat that is in the middle of the river, as more and more French forces spawn in the right flank, still trying to go for this right objective area. Likely the best area to actually try and push in from. It has the most areas to assault into, the most gaps, and it also has the least cover from the other portions of the map. We also have some Americans, it seems, in the bottom of the map. No, that's some VC. They're actually in the bottom of the bridge, laying down fire themselves, and that is some napalm coming in, killing a number of VC and USMC forces, taking out a fair portion of the defending units on the Charlie objective. We'll have to see if the French can capitalize on this, as we see one or two of their players moving up here over on the left side. If he is a squad leader, this could be pretty good. Take N2, moving up now into this big blown-out portion of the defensive wall here, possibly trying to throw some grenades over this wall. There is a VC spawning there. There's a tunnel in the corner, as there was last game, and ooh, that's a good grenade kill there. But there are a number of VC here, and since those grenades went up, they know he is there, and this could end poorly. We have High Sloyer. Yes, High Sloyer is going to gun him down as he pokes his head up above that little rubble pile. And over on the middle area, yet again, we have some more VC going to the bottom of the bridge to try and provide some more supporting fire for the American forces over on the VC's left flank. Their squad leader seems to have been picked off or rousted out from his little position behind this fishing boat, and we have some more of them. Piper in front of his friend, or behind his friend, who get gunned down, getting shot by the VC inside the tunnel over here. What's his name? That is Daesh, along with a number of other VC forces inside that inner little component of the fortification structure. Uranium and Heroic Servant pushing forward to each other. Heroic Servant gunning down Uranium as we have some RPG shots going out now towards the attacking forces. Paramaniac G pushing out here into the riverbed. The VC have a very comfortable control of the overall objective area, even being brazen enough to move out from their fortifications and push towards the main section of the riverbed. The ticket lead has gotten even worse now for the USMC forces. They have 253 tickets to the VC's 332. That is about an 80-point deficit for the VC. Piper from TnT here in the bottom tunnel, seemingly having rousted out Skakat Manifesto and his defending squad's forces, pushing in now in the bottom section here. See if any VC are at the end of this tunnel waiting for him. And it would seem on first glance that, no, there are not. They are completely clear in the bottom tunnel, and they are using it to the most that they can. Some white phosphorus there, killing off a number of American NVC. That was all U.S. forces. That was a VC phosphorus grenade. But it seems that some French players are getting out through this side tunnel and using it to harass the VC that are coming in to reinforce from the rear. Airborne dropping down here along with Romahan, possibly trying to get the French players by surprise. Romahan guns him down. We'll have to see how that plays out here in the next few minutes, as more American forces over at the middle of Charlie are getting gunned down by the VC. VC still not having been pushed back all that much, still being able to walk brazenly out in the middle of this river paddy, not having that much of a threat posed to them. The right flank is completely barren for the VC. They're completely free to go uncontested into the waters and provide supporting fire for their comrades over on their left flank towards the enemies that are coming in from that said flank. We have the lockdown timer going down now. It counted down to 9 minutes there a second ago. Piper from TnT along with Tombot coming down to the center of the objective zone, the bridge, pushing forward. Ooh, Tombot getting eliminated by an RPG, getting absolutely annihilated, turned into another little bit of paste there to be swept away by the river. As Piper charges forward with a grenade, trying to throw it to the top here, as we see Urethra Papercut sending down more RPG shots towards the attacking USMC forces. The initial little breach here still being defended by the VC, not as heavily though. The Americans are still getting in here. Asgard, the first to come in with a shotgun, getting gunned down by Skakat Manifesto. The one soldier from the VC forces to still be in here, charging out to avoid a grenade, but coming right back in to watch out. Captain Sausage coming in now, spotting possibly Skakat Manifesto, almost getting him. Warrior 85 now getting in, missing his first shot, but Skakat Manifesto is eventually taken down as Warrior 84 comes in with Captain Sausage and continues to push into this objective zone. Skunk, for the moment, cementing his team's position in the area. However, the VC are launching more and more attacks on that objective area, it seems, with grenades, RPGs, and now some more attention from some other players coming in here. But the USMC have gotten in. The French players are still in the area. They haven't noticed him. Oh, no! Dracarius! What are you doing? Oh, no! Texas Red takes down Dracarius. But every other attacking force, it seems, has been eliminated for the moment now, as Solaire pushes in. The USMC forces are still pushing in on that right flank, banking hard on being able to make that breach their work for them. It seems that is their forward operating base for the time being, as Warrior 84 sticks his head out, bleeding a little bit, as more and more French players swim in from the right side. Ooh, a nasty arty bomb drops right in between those two French players, turning them into ash and atomic particles, as Yapzandam gets engaged by another French player who he guns down for that thin sheet metal and takes him into the defensive position on. Meffer dropping artillery at a very opportune time to stop the American advance, but they are still pushing in. Not so strongly though, as Skakat Manifesto with his PPSH blasts away at the attacking forces at the main breach over on the American right flank. More and more VC coming over here to prevent the assault. Urethra Papercut with his SVD gunning away. But we still have a number of Americans inside, or a number of USMC American forces inside that breach. They have not ousted the French players from that objective entirely. Airborne throwing a grenade and a number of other VC trying to get themselves cemented back inside there. However, if the VC cannot identify where the Americans are, they still could lose this objective. However, with the fact that the American forces now have more than a 100 ticket deficit to the VC forces, it seems unlikely that they can carry this on for another 2 objectives and take the last the last 3 objective points and win the match. Meffer up here, sitting next to his radio, being sure to call in any artillery or support when he can, as we see more and more Americans now attacking over on their left flank, actually. A desperate action, possibly, from some American forces here, pushing in the left, getting gunned down by other VC here. It seems that for every American that manages to push in, there's 3 VC waiting for him with an AK-47, as about a dozen VC charge into this into their right flank to defend against the supposed French attack. We have here a flamethrower coming up, but he gets exploded by some kind of grenade, possibly an incendiary one, considering he's on fire. As it seems, this French incursion into the VC territory has been rejected for the time being. Paradise switches forward with his M60, gunning down at least 2 VC, being supported by Piper from TnT. Paradise gets gunned down, even though he has laid... Oh, that's a good little launch there. But yes, the American forces have been pushed back over on the left yet again, as more VC are pushing out to the center of the objective zone. Over on the American right flank, we still have a number of American forces out here trying to provide some marksman cover fire for their attacking forces. Make us dress from TnT being an example of that, as more and more American forces push forward under fire from the VC into that little breach. We have Abdel, level 9 from TnT, pushing forward as hard as he can with a number of other VC and American forces actually managing to meet out in the middle of the river. Jungle Child 1969 planning a punji stick. No, not a punji trap. That is actually a grenade, a mine, in the middle of that breach, as more and more forces continue to try and desperately get into the objective zone from both sides. Lockdown in 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Line them up if you got them, as Silver from TnT runs into the bottom of the center bridge and pushes forward as much as he can towards the objective zone, getting targeted by a VC. Got hit once, bandaging. Over on the VC right flank, there's actually still a sizable American force here. USMC is pushing in as much as they can. They are still attacking desperately, not knowing where the VC are, though, is causing them problems. They're getting gunned down from the sides, and they don't even know it. We have now... Oh, no, there we go. Oh, that was a good blast from whatever that was. That might have been a Willie Pete grenade. Yes, it was. Took out the sightline and presence of a lot of VC there, but the Americans still have not managed to actually get inside the objective zone, as they are now down to 39 tickets, and it seems that now it is only the flailings of a dying beast as the American war machine, the USMC, continues to struggle desperately to capture this objective, as 3.5 minutes remain in the lockdown timer for this objective. As Paradise gets gunned down, and Warrior 84 sits next to this exploded rebel, gets gunned down himself by New Type, as everyone on the VC team seems to be focusing on the far flanks, with very few in the center. Speaking of which, the American forces are actually breaking through in the center. The USMC are pushing in the middle, going to the flanks of the objective and trying to gun down as many VC as they can. Trotsky here getting taken out, not taking out a number of VC himself, getting a few kills, but not killing the majority of them, as the VC are flooding along these objective lines, trying to take out as many of the USMC forces as they can. Seems the USMC have been stumped resoundingly and repeatedly on this objective, the Great Fortress Gate being a bit too much for them to handle, as they now have 5 tickets, 4 tickets left, 3 tickets, 2 tickets, 1 ticket, and then no tickets left, as 2:30 is left on the clock in the lockdown timer for the enemy reinforcement timer, or for the lockdown, yeah, excuse me, as enemy reinforcements are called out and the lockdown timer is counting down. You have artillery from the Vietnamese team coming down and blasting away at the far side of the bridge, as the Bloodbath forces are now just waiting and watching and hunting down. Oh, ouch! Urethra Papercut accidentally getting a TK on Texas Red and Jungle Child. as he fires his RPG, but yes, the VC forces are pushing forward. Oh, and Steel being very sneaky. Steel TnT using his green helmet and uniform to blend in with the moss and vines that covered the wall and the roof here outside of the objective. He might be the last Marine alive to tell the tale of what happened here, as the rest of his comrades get cut down, as a minute and 38 seconds are remaining on the clock. No, wait, no, he seems... Oh, he got taken out by Gook's spy. A random RPG shot wipes out Steel. Ouch. So he will not tell his grandkids about this day, as one of the last American forces, make us stress TnT, still back here by this fishing boat, launches some desperate fire to try and make it out alive from this area. Uranium TnT launching some good shots as well, taking out a number of the VC as they rush towards him. Both of these last surviving American forces doing very good. Tombot getting taken down now, and Marshmallow, and Uranium finally, so it seems that Make Us Dress is one of the only forces or soldiers left for the American team. As 40 seconds come down here, let's go ahead and watch him as he pokes his head out and around, trying to target as VC as he can. Oh, but he gets gunned down by Solitaire, who took him out with an SVT. Or SVD, excuse me. 30 seconds in lockdown remain. Trying to find where the rest of these guys are. We got one American Lion MFZ hiding out here in the upper floor of this room in the Bravo objective back at the beginning of the map. Seems this is where both of them are. Dricarius and Lion both watching and waiting, trying to hold out as long as they can, not knowing if any VC are going to reach them, but it seems none will, as only 5 seconds remain in the map, and in the background, the Bloodbath players are celebrating and reveling in their victory on this game mode, and both of these rounds, excuse me. And again, here is the scoreboard, should you desire to observe it. MVP, Uranium TnT, most kills Meffer, highest score Uranium TnT, a most effective squad, NLF squad for Delta. That is led by Heroic Servant. The other members are Urethra, Papercut, Bromley, Gotta Be Gaming, Daesh, and Flick Z. Alright. And I believe we're going to be switching sides, switching servers, as it were. So we're going to be going ahead and waiting for the info to access that. All right. Moment. Go. And we're connecting. And now we're going to be fighting on Long Tan, one of the Aussie maps. From the new Australian Army content. And update. The free content release for Rising Storm 2. Involving, obviously enough, the Australian Armed Forces. A very dark, rainy, and shadowy map. I'm fairly unfamiliar with it. I haven't played it very often. And we have a brief intermission. I will be right back momentarily. I need to grab some water. My throat is parched. I apologize. I will be back momentarily. Alrighty, I have returned. Up your brightness. I will try and do that, see if it helps a little bit. That seems to be a bit better. There we go. And we have a bit of a break here for both. That's a bit bright, actually. I'll lower it a little bit. That's better. We have a brief intermission while players transfer from both sides. This is just a initial little scrim there. We're scrim here from the both sides, just kind of messing around, killing each other, all that kind of stuff. Alrighty. We've almost got everyone inside the match here as well. A very, like I said before... Oh, I see here. I believe this is the map that ends with a final attack on a plantation house. If it just was to come. A bit of a cynicism as far as the French's chances, I suppose, eh? Well, we'll see. We'll see. Check out the map here. Ooh, hang on a moment. Let me lower this back to the normal so we can actually see the map properly. Alright, there we go. So as you can see here, we have Objective Alpha, the plantation edge. Then Objective Bravo and Charlie, worker huts and old trenches. Objective Delta, ambushed convoy. And finally, Objective Echo, the director mansion.
Alpha's being attacked.
And there's the Australian voiceover. So Objective Alpha is a large open field of cut down trees, shell craters, and rain and mud pits. A very nasty place to fight, but a necessary one nonetheless. Alright, and also a reminder everyone, I am going to be doing a post-match interview with the team leads of the Bloodbath and the TnT teams. So, if you're interested in listening to what they have to say about what questions I pose and what questions you, the viewers, can also ask, then feel free to stick around. I'll be doing a section towards the end of the interview where I will be providing the opportunity for the listeners, viewers, you all, to actually contribute to the discussion, ask questions, say what you want to, possibly give some opinions, and we'll see how that goes. So I believe here we're getting close. Oh, let's see here, one moment. I'm going to ask if this is the official thing. Maybe with me, there's your answer. Well, Biggie, whenever you decide to go ahead and become a team lead for either the TnT or the or Bloodbath team, that's when. I mean, you are French after all, according to Miem anyway.
Bravo's being attacked.
Bravo's being attacked, says the Australian voiceover. And again, this is still a break. This is not the official match yet. This is still just people messing around and having fun while we wait for both American and French players to join the server. I kill you. Oh, you make it too easy.
Bravo. Fire support inbound. Take cover.
I've never really played the Australian content before. I know that in terms of overall firepower, they actually have less than the Americans, mostly because of their main weapon being a semi-automatic FNFAL variant. I believe the L1A1, if I'm remembering my weapon designation properly. I'll probably get Clerk in here to yell at me about messing that up. It's nice that they actually have little cutout clearings where everything is. Makes it easy to keep track of the objective zones. Very convenient. I believe this is also supposed to be a rubber plantation? A coffee plantation? I'm not sure. There's supposed to be some kind of plantation out here, I presume. There is like a worker's mansion after all, though it appears to be pretty abandoned and dilapidated, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's been gone for a while now. Yeah, here we go. What is this place? This is rubber, right? No, it's just kind of... I guess it's just some kind of tree or fruit area. I don't know what it's supposed to be. Oh, well. Of course, the big difference here between the French server will, of course, be the ping for both factions. The French and the Americans are going to have very different experiences being on servers that are wildly different in terms of distance from what they're used to. It'll be interesting to see how the French play now that they have to deal with a very high ping, potentially, on this American server. You can see here already, every single one of the French players has high 100s ping, some even in the 200s almost, while the Americans are generally experiencing below 100, even low 50s, 60s ping. So it'll be interesting to see how the Bloodbath and French TnT players do when they have those advantages and disadvantages reversed. I'm excited to see this event actually happen as well. I've always enjoyed commentating and spectating these events. I've done shoutcasting for Bloodbath since their very first scrim, and that was phenomenal. I'm probably going to try and do this probably officially at some point in the future if I can. It's always been something I enjoy, and I think that these provide not only enjoyment for myself and you all, but also a good portfolio if I can try and build that up. Fun fact as well, these packages here in the Bravo objective, I believe. Is this Bravo or Charlie? This is Charlie. No, Bravo, yeah. In the Bravo objective, they're actually the same props used in Rising Storm 1. That's a Japanese script on them. And if you go to any Rising Storm 1 maps that have sort of freight yards or supply depots, you'll find these lying around. It's not a new prop at all. Just a little bit of interesting information I thought you all might enjoy. But if in fact it's just a fact. Well, you know what, Biggie? Maybe you don't know how to have fun. Maybe you need to lighten up, mister. Maybe you need to take off your grumpy pants and learn to live life freely and happily. Delta objective is always an interesting one to take. It reminds me of the gap between the Bravo and Charlie objectives and Alpha objective. No, Bravo and Charlie and Echo and Delta on Su Chi. That long strip of road that has a destroyed convoy on it as well. Except this one is actually being fought over. Alright, and TnT is saying that they are all here and raring and ready to go. And Bloodbath is all here as well. So, let's go ahead and get ready for the next round to start. I'm going to take a final swig of water to prepare myself for the next 2 rounds of non-stop action and talking. But here we go. And both sides are signaling that they are ready. So it's time to rock and roll, as Supake put it. Making you thirsty with that salt. Oh, you know it, man. And here's the reset, and we're ready to go. On Long Tan. Not much tans to be had out here in the middle of the rainy jungle. You'd usually go to a beach for that, but who am I to judge? Alright, going to the Alpha objective out here right away. Obviously see these little puddles pop into existence. There we have Zachary Moe, the polyglot nerd in chat, correcting me, saying apparently the Vietnamese also use Chinese and Japanese characters, but only for special occasions like calligraphy. So thank you, Zach, for your insight. Next, you'll have to tell us about how Russia didn't have any official literature until the 1800s. And the match is live, folks. According to Bloodbath, anyway, as we have a countdown here in the next minute. I'm unfamiliar with where the VCs spawn on this map. I know the Australians defend. They spawn back near the road. I don't know where the VCs spawn in, though, so I'll have to watch for the Australians here as they come in. But yes, it is a big, long stretch of forest, very dark, very wet. It's interesting because the rain, you might not think about it, but the rain can prevent you from noticing someone nearby until they fire their gun, because it's such a constant sound. It drowns out everything else around you. The workers' huts area is also pretty heavily contested usually. It's a very awkward place to fight. There's not a lot of solid cover, and it's going to be there's a lot of angles you can be shot at and you can shoot from and be shot at from. The forests are also a very good location for the VC to place their tunnels, as they're very concealed. As we see here in the last 10 seconds or so, where the other teams spawn in. Where are you now? There we go. Here's the VC spawn. As we see in a big ol' line, the French team, everyone whose names you might recognize or not recognize, coming on in here, coming in, and going towards the objective zone at Alpha. We have a very big split here, no one going straight for the middle, everyone going for a flank here from the Vietnamese team for the French players. The Australian forces all charging straight to the center, it seems, getting behind those trees, those little drops in the ground, those bombshell craters with a lot of fire getting spread out already, as the VC are still flanking hard towards both sides of the objective area. A large force, no kills yet, no real engagements. They're going way, way around to the side of the map to try and get the drop on the Australian forces, and they seem to be getting closer. Sonic seeing the first kill on MFZ Manu, and another one on Marshmallow. Dricarius getting shot at by a few Australian defenders. A new type here. A lot of the kills being for the French players so far. Bloodbath not getting many in return. Bromley's killing out Steel. And we have here Dricarius taking out possibly Bromley. Yes, he drops Bromley dead into the dirt as he pushes further forward into the Alpha objective. Now behind the Alpha objective, actually, if they can get a tunnel back there, it's going to be a major pain for the Australian forces. As you see more and more Australians pulling back from the center, realizing what's happening, the word is getting around in the team chat. They are now pulling away as fast as they can. Supake still watching out there in the center, as over on the right, we have Sane and Psionics getting a heck of a lot of fire coming out here, as we see Bromley and Sane himself watching over the advancing forces. The Australian left flank seems to be the most heavily contested at the moment, as a large force of VC are still rooted pretty heavily in the area there. Chartreux getting shot out in the water there. Vadaz with his RPG getting killed underneath the paper cut, as we have even more... Ooh, dang, good grenade launcher kill there. Even more VC forces spewing out from their respawn tunnels and into the area of the objective and the reinforcements from the Australian team. A large number of the area here on the right-hand side for the VC of the Alpha objective is uncontested, the majority of the surviving Australian players being on their right flank, the VC left flank, but we do have some reinforcements coming up now, namely, at first, Hapless pushing forward, getting taken out by a shot from MSC Manu right in the thigh, the calf there, taking him down to the dirt. as we see MFC Manu sitting here as a sergeant watching from the side. Going back over to the Australian right flank, it seems we have a lot of action over here as well. Stug Life, Lit Key, and a few others watching over here on the side, as we have Tombot here getting in behind all of them, possibly getting a few kills here if he's careful, but no, he gets taken out before he can do anything. Lit Key takes him out himself, as we see more and more VC pop up from over in this direction. They must have a tunnel out here somewhere. I'm uncertain as to where that is. Virtually no fire in the center zone for Alpha, all focused on the flanks. The VC are not pushing in the middle whatsoever, aside from one or two seemingly rogue players that have decided to charge out in the center to see what they can do to try and distract. Vidaz here with his RPG firing a few shots off as well. Barrage strike incoming, and the rear line of Alpha, that's a good mark. We're going to have to see what that can do for the VC. The Australians could have the reinforcements cut off in the middle. The VC might be trying to focus the middle now, and the VC are charging in. No, that's the Australians, never mind, excuse me. The VC, though, are pushing up in the center right. From their perspective, they have the commander over here watching from a bit of a hut here, a little thatch-roofed hut in the middle of the jungle here, as artillery from both sides is falling. Pfeffer and the VC commander, I don't remember his name, we'll have to check that out here in a moment. You see a kill from the kill feed pop up in his name, but they are both calling in a barrage on both sides of the Alpha objective. Jungle Child 1969 pushing forward along with a few other members of his squad. Gotta be gaming, pushing forward, getting killed though, getting taken out by, looks like that is Captain Alex lying here in the bushes as more and more VC spawn in. Smedley pushing forward next to Airborne. Smedley taken out, looks like Captain Alex, quite possibly. No, he gets taken out himself, but Scott Cat Manifesto manages to wipe him out, and that is the last Captain Smedley will be doing for now, as Man God pushes forward as well. Still quiet in the center of the objective zone. The VC have not managed to take a single portion of the cap zone yet. Their flanking maneuver seems to have failed. Hecate MF2 moving forward here with his RPD machine gun, trying to get a good line of sight. Oh, it's a DP-28, excuse me, the dinner plate, watching over a few members of the center objective there, just launching fire where he can. Shots ringing out from both sides of the objective zone as Meffer and Romahan with the Radio Man there, next to the TL, watching out as much as he can for the opportunities he can get to call in artillery support or other kinds of supplies. Sipake with his machine gun there, firing out some shots. Over on the Australian right flank, we have another push from the VC. They got a lot of smoke out now, indicating their push. This could be a big event for the VC. They are seemingly pushing en masse, or trying to. A lot of smoke out here over on their far flank. Though not that many of them actually there to support it. They're pushing instead around the far, far outer side again, trying to get wrapped around the Australian flank as much as possible. Paradise taking down an Australian soldier as he pushes forward into the flanking, into the soft underbelly, hopefully, of the Australian crocodile. And as Smedley watches the approach from a different angle, oblivious to the impending doom that might possibly be falling upon him. Center objective still quiet as we have more and more shots ringing out now from the right side. RPG is getting sent out. What is this now? Oh, we have a large number of VC pushing in from the right flank behind that smoke. We have Tombot and a few other members of his group there. Oh, Drinky accidentally TK's Tombot with a scoped rifle as Golf TnT sits behind a bush waiting for more of his squad to come forward. And Chasson Theo watches as well, Radio Man for the VC team. Over on the VC's right flank, we have here a number of other Australian forces that are pushed forward behind this tree in this bomb crater, watching out for more of the attacking VC, launching out what shots they can with their little ONSMGs, giving a bit of a effective fire. They're going to be gaming, killing at least two of them, Captain Alex and one other member of the VC forces. Some of the Australian forces just unloading. Pyromaniac G with his M60 machine gun, blasting away through the smoke towards possible attacking Vietnamese forces, and Meffer launching another artillery strike over on the right side, the Australian right flank, blocking off any attack chance they had from the VC had from that side for the time being. As more and more VC are apparently spawning in over here on the flank. Captain Sausage as well. Potentially at a radio? Oh yeah, this is a radio right there. calling in potentially either recon or radio or what have you, as lockdown timer is now below 5 minutes. We have
Scout.
RPGs flying out here. And other nonsense going on. Not a lot of action coming in here still from the VC, still getting cut down effectively. I'm not sure why they're avoiding the center of the map. They could potentially push through pretty easily there. It seems that more of them are trying to get through there, possibly as a last effort uranium TnT pushing forward as well, next to MFZ. With some artillery dropping in the middle now, they seem to be pushing forward as hard as they can towards the center of the objective zone. More and more artillery is following me back in Alpha. What's good, Mr. Sir? How you doing? Welcome to the event. 4 minutes now left in the lockdown timer. As Captain Sausage pushes forward with TnT. And Airborne as well, with the Australians pushing forward and possibly getting pushed back. Alpha now being contested by the VC. They have enough men inside the objective zone itself to start taking it, and the Australian forces that don't seem to have that many men inside. Alpha is not being captured anymore. That's not very good. The French might not even manage to take the very first objective on this map. They have 3 minutes and 16 seconds to take the objective zone now, as Airborne comes in and wipes up all these guys in the middle of this trench. As I said before, the rain and gunfire can really distract you from what's around you, as Airborne and Chassonville can completely ignore each other right here, as they are right next to each other in this bomb crater. Oh no, Airborne! Oh, dang! Airborne ignoring the last VC in the bomb crater right next to him, almost literally walking on top of him as he tries to clear out the VC in the Alpha objective. That is no good. That is definitely going in the highlights as we see critical 40 MFC getting shot in the neck by Urethra Papercut. That RPD fire not going to be all that effective anymore, as he is now dead and unable to use his weapon, as the Aussies seem to be pushing even further forward, trying to reclaim their control over the objective yet again, and simply having succeeded to from the more rear lines now of the objective zone. As Pyromaniac G lays down some good fire with his M60 machine gun as more and more VC push in towards the center using that smoke as cover, and being suppressed now, the Australians are, by a number of other forces that the VC are sending in to try and take the cap zone. That is specifically Utopia, who's gunned down by Pyromaniac G, as Alpha itself still has a number of VC inside of it, but unfortunately does not actually have any enough men. Oh, no, excuse me, the VC forces don't have enough presence inside Alpha objective to truly take the point anymore, as lockdown is now 1 minute and 43 seconds. MFZ Manu trying his best to hold off any Americans there, but Meffer calling in artillery again in Alpha. 1 minute 30 on lockdown, and that artillery is very likely going to do it for the chances the VC have to take the objective zone. They very likely cannot come back and take this objective now. They are also almost equal on tickets, as they only have about 1 minute left in the cap timer. They have been pushed out of the cap zone, and they only have a handful of forces present to try and counterattack at the current time. We see here Brahman pushing forward with his FNFAL, gunning down at least 1 or 2 of the VC in the area. That's an M16, excuse me, as we have less than a minute left in the countdown timer now. We see here Utopia pushing forward, bravely taking out Meffer and getting into the rest of the cap zone, as we now have a counter-artillery as Utopia gets gunned down. VC calling in artillery of their own, pulling off a number of the Australian forces. Only danger with that artillery is it's a bit too close possibly to the initial area that their forces are going to be in, but they are capturing Alpha now. If they can capture it in the next 30 seconds, they can take this and end the lockdown timer. Let's see what the Australians can pull off. However, the VC are in the middle of that little zone there. They're getting a number of men in the cap zone. They might very well... Oh, no! Airborne! Killing a number of the VC inside that cap area with a grenade, getting a bit of retribution to the same little crater that he failed to defend fully earlier. He cleans out, and in an instant, that turns the tide, eliminating the advantage that the French had in the cap zone. Oh my goodness.
Form back.
And there you have it. Bloodbath has successfully defended the map from TnT in this first round on the Bloodbath server. And as we swap here to the next round, we're going to have the French players changing to the Australian side for TnT, and Bloodbath, the Americans, changing to the VC. So we'll see how they can play out in this next round. And we see here already in the text chat the various team members plotting out their strategy. As we see here, the Australians already blasting away with their machine gun, trying to kill a number of VC if they can. Just randomly firing into the distance, basically, as a number of VC... Oh, he actually gets one! It's two! Look at that! Conan the Librarian and Flix getting eliminated as we have a few VC here. Texas Red and Reaper Paper Cut moving forward. Texas Red is the only one surviving, as Hapless switches forward as well. As more and more fire pours out from the defending French forces, the Bloodbath players seemingly trying to push more up the middle than the French were, at least of the token force. As we see here, they're actually pushing up past the Australian defenders. We have Texas Red here getting way up in front, up into the far, far front of the Alpha objective. Now establishing a bit of a presence for himself. We'll have to see if the Bloodbath players can take this fairly quickly here. On the flanks, they're also engaging the...
We are taking Alpha.
French forces here. We have Captain Alex from TnT pushing out to try and stop their advance, but he is getting engaged now and almost gets taken out, might possibly get taken out. He's getting missed by a lot of shots from Bloodbath. I don't know who that is, but they're not doing very well at suppressing him. That is, in fact, Conan the Librarian. Captain Alex is going to survive for right now and bandage as Conan moves back and gets a better shot at him, takes him out finally. As Alpha is now being even more heavily contested in the middle as more and more Bloodbath forces push forward. Airborne now coming up and trying to get a bit more distraction going inside that objective zone as the Bloodbath forces are getting suppressed on the flanks again. Drinky from TnT using his grenade launcher, but Alpha is now being taken. It looks like the center push has worked for Bloodbath. A number of their forces infiltrating and engaging and downright dominating the French players for right now. They are solidly in a hold of the bombshell craters out front here. Some of them are getting taken out, though. Not looking too good, but a large force of Bloodbath forces pushing up as fast as they can. Skycat Manifesto getting one of those squad tunnels inside of the bombshell crater there for quick reinforcement. A number of VC charging up, a human wave practically, rushing into the front zone of Alpha to try and keep the pressure on the French players. French are trying as desperately as they can to defend from the side. We have Chassentheo and Paradise blasting away with all the armament they have as grenades, smoke, and bullets whiz over the heads of the various attackers and defenders. And Chassentheo! That is the same bomb crater! That is the bomb crater of death right there, ladies and gentlemen. Or was it this one? Either way, those front bomb craters are lethal. I believe it was the same one. Don't go in that bomb crater, ladies and gentlemen. It is a death trap. I suppose in this case, lightning or explosives do strike twice. Alright, and Chartreux and Drinky, along with Asgard, are now lying here behind Alpha, as Alpha is again being contested. Urethra Pippercut now up on the front of the objective line. Ooh, we saw an Australian force get blasted away there. The VC are very, very close here to taking Alpha again. Biff Butkus launching an RPG across the smoky field there into the Australian reinforcing zone. Australians definitely killing as much as they're getting, but they have lost Alpha now and have to fall back. The Bloodbath players effectively dominating the first point and pushing forward in a fraction of the time that it took the French in that previous round. Smedley now coming forward here to move up into the riverbed as he hears a few of his friends getting taken out, possibly by the American defenders. Smedley now spotting a Australian force. Ooh, one-shot kill on uranium from TnT, and on Yogi and Chasson Theo and Asgard. My God, this man's a monster! Take that rifle away from him. He's a war criminal at this point. As Bravo is now being defended and contested by both sides, we already see some of the VC forces pushing up very close here. Psionics engaging with Trotsky, getting him down, but Dracarius takes down Psionics himself as he pushes around. Uranium TnT pushing out to try and take out these VC out here in the flank, getting one of them at least. New type getting taken out, but he gets gunned down by Meffer as Gook Spy is putting on a tunnel here on the flank of Bravo. A very good location for a tunnel as well, behind a bush and behind a few banks of cover. It's going to be very hard for the Australian defenders to root out unless they go intentionally searching for it, which they might not be able to in time, as Charlie is already being contested. Let's zoom over there quickly and see what's going on at the old trenches. The old trenches seem to be overwhelmed by VC right now as Ruth Papercut, Strawberry, and Skakat Manifesto keep pushing forward into these trench lines. There is a singular bunker in the middle of the complex that the Australians could be defending, but it's not going to be enough as it seems to have already been cleared out by the VC. All these dead boys lying in the middle of the ground here as Airborne is planting a punji stake trap, and Bravo is now being taken as well. Zooming back over across the foresty field, here we see smoke billowing up in the middle of the Bravo objective as a large number of VC forces are infiltrating from that squad tunnel that got put down over on the flank here moments ago. And Bravo has been captured. Now Delta is the next objective. The Australian forces have to defend the destroyed convoy on the road. It's a good, long stretch open territory for them to use their weapons at, but with this rain and this darkness, it might be hard to pick out targets. Plus, the flanks are very open on this objective. We can already see them being used here, being guarded by Silver. And we see some Vietnamese forces here, No Man God, already pushing forward to try and abuse these flanks for all that they're worth. We also see Drinky from TnT pushing forward there as well to take guard of them, and we see No Man God getting gunned down by Silver, but Yagdor takes down Silver, and the VC forces continue to push, now at this point unimpeded, along this flank towards the Delta objective. Moving now over to the Australian left flank of Delta, there's a lot of action going on over there. We see that there is a wide amount of forces over on this objective. Uranium TnT gunning down a few more assaulting forces. Airborne missing his gaze, getting him killed, but Airborne also gets taken out by Silver TnT, who was to the left of the entry point that he used. Scouts for the VC forces are now reporting in as we have some artillery coming down from the Australian team, presumably on the left-hand side of the Delta objective. Yes, it is indeed what that is from Captain Sausage, but Silver gets gunned down by Flicks, and we go back over now to the right side of Delta from the Australian perspective to see how things are going over there. We already can see they're getting hammered from the right side. Gotta Be Gaming is pushing up very far. The Australians seemingly having completely ignored their right flank, or outright having lost it almost immediately, as Gotta Be Gaming loses his ammunition, gets gunned down by Vidaz. A very bad time to run out of ammunition on that massive drum mag for the RPD, as now VC artillery is dropping right on top of the middle of the Delta objective, trying to soften up the French forces that might still be in the area as more Australians move forward to try and reinforce their waning defensive line. Some of the VC are sitting back here trying to spot for any Australians sticking their heads out from behind those walls as more, and that's a big old line of what are these? These Australians? No, these are VC. The VC have eliminated all defense over on the right and are now dominating the Australians as they come out of spawn and try and come reinforce. Basically a firing line here of VC firepower blasting away at any approaching Australians that might be trying to take back their hold on the objective zone, as Delta is now completely overrun with VC and is going to be captured very likely in short order, as the Bloodbath team has now swarmed into the objective zone. And Delta has been captured. And now Echo is the only objective left, the Manor House. Quite possibly the most defensible position on this entire map. We'll have to see how the Australians can handle it. as we see here an accidental team kill on Colonel Kelly from Piper from TnT, blasting away with their M60. And we see here a VC sneaking around, almost TKing an entire, oh, not TKing, but almost killing an entire squad. As more VC continue to stream in, not letting up the pressure at all. Daesh rushing forward, taking out Yogi and that entire force there, except for Chas and Theo. Oh, almost taking out an entire squad, all on his own, with sheer force of will and, excuse me, I'm forgetting the word, momentum. That is what it is. Force of will and momentum. Tomba from TnT, as well as another one of his defending comrades getting attacked by Xionyx. Xionyx getting taken out. Echo is already being attacked. Is this what I think it is? Yes! It seems that they have already been, the VC have already managed to sneak into Echo from somewhere. I don't know where. They're already on the upper floor of Echo. Scottcat Manifesto and Lieutenant Heinz Becker, along with Flixie, are already on the top floor of Echo inside the Australian compound. How did this happen? I don't know, but it's certainly impressive and incredibly detrimental for the Australians in their efforts of defending this objective zone. It seems the Australians are actively oblivious of the fact that there are Bloodbath players inside the second story of their main portion of their defense. The Bloodbath team members are doing their best to pick off any assaulting or any defending and reinforcing Australian team members, and it seems to be quite effective, as there are still a number of them alive. None of them have been killed yet, as Lieutenant Heinz Becker watches the stairs. And the objective is now being attacked as a large amount of VC are spawned in, presumably with an ambush spawn, rushing now into the objective zone. Brownlee Pyromaniac G rushing in, getting taken out potentially by Steel, but no, he's taken out by Daesh, and it seems that that is going to be it. A hefty steamroll from the Bloodbath forces on Long Tan, and that is going to go ahead and be it for the stream. A match victory. MVP, Scottcat Manifesto, most kills from Brownlee, highest score, Scottcat Manifesto, and most effective squad, NLF Squad 3, Ska's Rice Bowl. And there you have it. There is the score tab for everyone in the game. Go ahead and gaze your eyes upon it, because you're not going to see it here in a few seconds. And it seems that, yes indeed, this was a very successful, very high-impact, high-action event. So stay tuned.